Hello folks, this is the Lumière Sterelux. I promised to make a video about it. First thing I'm going to cover is the format. So it takes a pair. The pair is roughly 61 millimeters wide by about 63 or 64 millimeters high, and it takes 7 pairs on a 116 roll by using these 7 windows. So we wind to number 1 on the backing paper here, and then we take the picture, and then we go to number 2 on the second hole, number 3. This is because the 116 format was originally for 8 exposures, about 110, 108 by 63 and a bit. And the pair, 61 millimeter wide pair, needs about 125 millimeters. So the extra 17 millimeters of advance gives us 7 pairs, 61 by 64, on a roller 116. All well and good. If we want to use 120 film, of course you can get these adapters for 120. And the 120 film starts about here. So if you used, I reckon, window number 5, and you use the numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, 11 will be a last shot, you get 6 pairs 61 millimeters wide, much like a kaleidoscope or a Sputnik. However, I think the film is too narrow, it doesn't meet the edges here. I think you'd end up with a less than flat film plane. I would suggest a couple of thin metal strips along the top and bottom, so that the edges of the film are supported and pressed against the back plate, the back pressure plate, which is nothing to write home about, but at least it's got one. I'm thinking, would a couple of 70mm cassettes fit in there? 70mm cassettes with 70 or 65mm wide film in them. So I've said I don't like the Sterelux, and this is why. It's the folding and unfolding. It has this spring-loaded flap. This is just a spring-loaded flap with no catch. And to open the camera up, you open this, and you're holding the back open with the back of your hand. You have to lift this ring and pull like buggery, and it's really quite stiff to get this lens panel out, and you have to make sure that these 4 little legs are straight, or of course you won't get the lenses in register. Nasty ever set shutter. And then to put it back again, you have to faff about like this. Press the front. It's just horrible. Press the front back in again. Compared to things like a lovely Zeiss folder, so much nicer. One thing I want to mention though is this septum. Lovely and narrow, only about 1.5 millimeters wide, so we get the best use of the width of the film. People have talked about Siamesing a pair of 2 1/4 square folders, but of course you're going to be left with some kind of space between the 2 halves. Space required not so much for this roller, but for the concertinaing bellows. The Sterelux gets around this problem. The interesting thing is that the septum is not perfect. I don't know if I can pick it up on the camera, but there's actually a bit of a gap in it towards the front. But it doesn't matter. It's sufficient. It provides sufficient separation here to keep the left and right images apart. So there you have it, the Sterelux. Oh, the Everset shutter, yes, well these are horrible things, they're woefully inaccurate. It claims to have 50th, 25th, the 50th and 100, but they're probably all the same, given that the spring, it just varies the shutter speed by varying the tension on a spring. Focusing and aperture controls, of course, focusing and aperture, of course, are coupled, and the shutter blades are coupled as well. See what I mean? There you go. Cut this bit out. Thank you for watching.